You've probably seen headlines about these workplace trends. First, it was the Great Resignation, then quiet quitting. Well, that was 2022, and 2023 has a new buzzy workplace trend.
It's called quiet hiring.
Managers across multiple workplaces are trying out a process called, get this, quiet hiring.
Quiet hiring is really in the news right now. Quiet hiring is one of several trends that we've identified as potentially having a major impact in 2023 for the future of work. And some organizations, it's going to be a game changer. For some organizations, it might be one of our other trends that's more of a priority. It depends on where their biggest challenges are.
There's a difference in how you do it. If you do it the right way, perfect. If you do the wrong way with the wrong intentions, I say quiet hiring is not going to work. It's going to not have the employee engagement the way that you want to.
So with all the economic uncertainty going around, employers are looking at ways to fulfill their needs without actually having to commit to growing their workforce. One way of potentially doing that is what has been called quiet hiring.
Quiet hiring is actually not a new concept. Companies have been using quiet hiring for years now to fill talent gaps. It basically means hiring short-term contractors or reassigning your existing employees to new positions or asking them to take additional responsibilities.
Fundamentally, we don't have enough talent right now. We don't have enough people to do the jobs we need. And even if we are eventually going to be able to hire them, the hiring timelines are very, very long. That's one of the major forces that started shaping quiet hiring.
I think there is a relationship and a trend almost between the Great Resignation, quiet quitting, and now quiet hiring, and I'm sure there'll be something quiet down the road. I think it's the evolution of how the workplace is changing and trying to adapt to the post-pandemic world.
Tech companies like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft have been laying off tens of thousands of workers. The larger economy, however, remains relatively strong. Demand for workers is high and unemployment is low. Many economists still think a recession could happen in 2023, and companies are turning to quiet hiring as a way to trim costs ahead of a potential economic downturn.
So the way this trend works in relation to the broader economy is that it is the case that the economy is slowing down. So we have seen mixed economic signals, but there's no question about the economy slowing down, which makes employers hesitant to hire, but the work still needs to be done. So in that case, the employers are willing to lean on their current workforce a bit more in order to get the job done. There are parts of the job market right now where there are pretty severe labor shortages. Industries like healthcare is one of them. So in these industries where there are labor shortages, quiet hiring may be a way for employers to fulfill their needs.
It's incredibly expensive to hire new talent, and it's a little bit cheaper to retrain existing talent that you have. And it's definitely a little bit cheaper to also do it with contractors if you design it correctly so that you're not breaking the law in terms of where you're classifying your workers. When we look at how much it costs to hire someone, say it's a replacement hire, you're looking at the impact on my team, but also on my managers and on my colleagues. There's a lost productivity as long as that position's open. The recruiting team and the hiring manager is going to spend, that's expensive time, doing the sourcing of candidates, the reviewing of applications, the interviewing, the conversations to make the decisions. And then you add in bringing in additional things. Maybe there's a relocation bonus, there's a signing bonus. It's expensive.
There can be many negative attributions to the idea of quiet hiring, such as you're effectively causing people to work harder for no change in their compensation. And I don't doubt that there are instances of that. I don't think that's the most important part of the phenomenon.
I think it's a labor abuse and wage theft when not done the right way. Let's put it an example. If you are busy and if you are cross-training your employees left and right, you are literally cross-training them for 4 or 5 roles. Wearing multiple hats and then paying one salary? No, it's not going to work. How about you go back and see the root cause of why you're trying to cross-train the employees. How about you are not forecasting those headcounts? Whose fault is it? It's a resources planning? It's a workforce planning? So let's go back and hold the leadership team accountable. Why are you backfilling it? I mean, why are you not paying them if you're backfilling it? It creates the burnt out for employees. And normally the high performer are the one who's going to take on that. They always go above and beyond. And this is why people are quitting.
If an organization isn't really thoughtful about how they do quiet hiring, there is absolutely a risk that you could end up worsening some of the diversity, particularly if, say, you're moving people into an opportunity that gives them access to more leadership roles in the future. Have you thought about the diversity of the group that you're moving in there? From an equity perspective, are you making sure that the compensation that you're offering doesn't create inequity within the organization in terms of people with similar skills and similar responsibilities being paid differently?
Quiet hiring is smart business strategy, and as we look for the future, organizations need to understand where their talent sits in the organization so they can deploy that talent along the way as they continue to move their organization forward.
Quiet hiring is actually a great opportunity for employees because they get an opportunity to own their growth, they get an opportunity to invest in themselves, build a skill set, and actually bring that skill set and their diversity of thought into areas outside their purview or job responsibilities within an organization. It's also an opportunity for employees to accelerate their careers, because when would you get an opportunity to hop onto new responsibilities and take on new job roles, exhibit your impact?
I think it's going to be even more important going forward in this year and beyond. It's a win-win. It allows them to keep costs down and also give opportunity to existing employees to really grow and develop and advance within their careers.